Hello guys, welcome to Ramta Solutions. Today we are looking at how to find your highest common factor without any waste of time. Let's look at this example. Find the factors of, I will take it as an example, find the factors of 16 and 24. However, I want to expand on this that what I'm looking at will be the highest common factor. Without any waste of time, let's look at the factors of 16. What are they? 16 can be divided by 1, so 1 is a factor. It can be divided by 2, 2 is a factor. Cannot be divided by 3, but can be divided by 4. Cannot be divided by 5, cannot be divided by 6, by 7, but can be divided by 8, and lastly, by 16. Right? Good. Now, let's then look at the factors of 24. 24 can be divided by 1, can be divided by 2, can be divided by 3, can be divided by 4, can be divided by 6, can be divided by 8, can be divided by 12, and lastly, by 24 itself. So, these are the factors of 16 and 24. Now, the highest factor here, as we can see, we have 1, 2, 4, 8. 8 is the highest factor. The highest common factor is 8. Okay? So, today we're going to show you a method that says instead of doing all these, you can make a simpler calculation by using prime factorization. Okay. Now, let's try it. Now, we will say use prime factorization. Use prime factorization to find the highest common factor for number 1. We will take that example we gave earlier, 16 and 24. Number 2, we're going to look at 108 and 270. Number 3, we're going to look at 30, 210, and 700. Okay? So, without any waste of time, let's look at number 1. So, number 1 was 16 and 24. Prime factorization of 16. 16 can be divided by 2. So 16 by 2 is 8. 8 can be divided by 2, which is 4. 4 can be divided by 2, which the answer will be 2. Again, 2 can be divided by 2. Alright? Now, these are the prime factors of 16. Now, let's look at prime factors of 24. They are 24 is an even number, so I can divide it by 2. It will work. 24 divided by 2 is 12. 12 divided by 2, because it's an even number, I can divide it by 2. It will be 12 divided by 2 will be 6. 6 is an even number, so let me start with 2. It's possible. 6 divided by 2 is 3. 3 is an odd number. Can I divide it by 3? It's also a prime number, so let me divide it by 3. So these are the prime factors. So to help us find the highest common factor, let's do this. So we have the product of prime factors would be 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. This will be 16, right? Of 24 would be 2 times 2 times 2 times 3, right? So when we get to this, we will then say we must find the numbers that are common in both the factors that are common in both numbers, and also account for how many times they are occurring. So I see 2 and 2 for the second time and for the third time. Therefore, we can say our highest common factor, maybe let me write it here. We can say our highest common factor is 2 times 2 times 2. What is it? 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8. Let's go check the opening example. We found that the highest common factor is 8. Remember, this method will not be conducive when you are dealing with bigger numbers, okay? All right. Hence, we're doing prime factorization. Now we're going to number 2. This one we said it was 8, so we are sorted. Number 2 was 108 and 270. So what do we have? We have, this is 108 is an even number, so I can divide it by 2, which gives me 54. 54 is an even number, so let me divide it by 2, which is, let me see, 54 divided by 2 is 27. 27 is an odd number. I will divide it by 3. Yeah, 3 can work. 27 divided by 3 is 9. 9 is an odd number. Let me see if I can divide it by 3. Yes, I can divide it by 3. 9 divided by 3 is 3. Now 3 is a prime number, an odd number of course, so I will divide it by 3 as well. Okay, now 270, let's see. We have 270. Let's find the prime factors. It's an even number. I can divide it by 2, which is 135. 135 is an odd number. I will divide it by 3, which will then give me, let me see, it'll give me 45. It'll give me 45. 45, an odd number. Maybe I will divide it by 3. 45 by 3, it'll be 45 divided by 3 will be 15. 15 is also an odd number, so I will still divide it by 3 if it works. Yes, 3. 15 divided by 3 is 5. 5 is a prime number, so let me divide it by 5. So the product of prime factors is, for 108, is 2 times 2 times 3 times 3. How many 3's? There are 3 3's. And then 270, we have 2 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 5. Alright? So remember, when we want the highest common factor, let's see, 2 is common in both numbers once, but I see 3 is common how many times? 3 is common 3 times. Alright, 3 is common 3 times. Alright, 3 is common 3 times. So what is our highest common factor? Our highest common factor is 2 common ones. 3 is common 3 times. Alright, now 2 times 3 is 6. 6 times 3 is 18. 18 times 3 is 54. So this is your highest common factor. Okay, now let's try the last one. The last one, we have 30, 210 and 700. Right, 30, 210 and 700. Let me confirm it. Oh yes. So let's do prime factorization of 30. 30 is an even number, so I will divide it by 2. It's 15. 15, I will divide it by 3, which will be 5. 5, I can divide it by 5. Now going to 210. 210 is an even number. We'll divide it by 2, which says 105. 105 is an odd number, right? 105 is an odd number. I can divide it by 3 as well. So 105 divided by 3 is 35. 35. 35 I cannot divide it by 3. I will divide it by 5. 35 divided by 5 is 7. 7, a prime number, I will divide it by 7. Now, 700s, let's look for the prime factors of 700. 700, an even number, I will divide it by 2, which says we have 350, which is also an even number. I can still divide it by 2. When I divide it by 2, we get 175. 175 is basically is an odd number as well. So let's see if 175 can be divided by 3. Nope, it cannot be divided by 3, but it can be divided by 5, right? It can be divided by 5. So it can be divided by 5, which will be 35, right? Which will be 35. 35, I can divide it by, I'm going to take 5. Can be divided by 5, and then when I divide it by 5, it is 7, right? 7 divided by 7. Remember, guys, to check if your workings are correct, you must say this. For example, let's find the product of the prime factors. 30, we had 2 times 3 times 5. 2 times 3 is 6. Times 5 is 30. It's correct. 210, we have 2 times 3 times 5 times 7. 2 times 3 is 6, times 5 is 30. 30 times 7 is 210. So now let's proceed to 700. 700, what do we have? We have 2 times 2 times 5 times 5 times 7. Let's quickly check this one. It is 2 times 2 times 5 times 5 times 7. It is 700. Now, what are the common factors? Right? The 2 is common, the 3s are not, and the 5s are common only once. So our highest common factor is 2 times 5, which is 10, right? So this is our highest common factor. Okay, guys, remember, you look at how many times your factors are repeated. 2 is appearing, common 2s are appearing only once, common 5s are appearing only once. Remember, whatever that's your common factor must be common in all the numbers that you are looking at. Let me not say both, in all the numbers that you're looking at. Okay, guys, with that being said, it's a wrap. See you next time. Bye bye.